How y'all doing, YouTube people? Your boy back on the track like a young Mac, you know what I'm saying, flipping my car. And welcome to the circus, man. Welcome to the circus, man. That's what these guys that turn boxing into. Welcome to the circus. I seen the Canelo and Crawford fight coming up next month. Man, I'm like, man, boxing probably gonna get an opportunity to come back. Cause how it's been looking a little bit, it's been looking a little suspect. It's been looking a little weird, some of the fights they've been making. They just ain't been looking right, you know what I'm saying? Crawford, Canelo, a lot of great boxers sitting out here. And I think the thing with boxing, that they just don't make the fights you want to see. You know, I remember a era where everybody fought each other. Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, you know what I'm saying? People always say Mayweather ducked somebody, but Mayweather fought everybody in his weight class. They say he fought Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was old, but Floyd Mayweather is older than Manny Pacquiao, so I don't want to hear that. But in a time where Roy Jones didn't really have too many fighters to fight, he had fought Bernard Hopkins early on in his career, you know what I'm saying? But he ended up fighting him later. But the era where boxers didn't duck nobody and everybody fought everybody. Heavyweights fought, welterweights fought. I remember the era where the heavyweight really ran everything, you know what I'm saying? That's when everything was shut down and people be ready to watch Mike Tyson fights or Lennox Lewis or Riddick Bowe or any kind of fighter, you know, fight. And then, you know, it went more to welterweight, then it went back to heavyweight. It always bounces between them two divisions of some of the best fights and best fighters in boxing. But now, boxing has turned into a big old clown show. You know, you got people like Jake Paul, he just fighting anybody. If you're a random YouTuber, he gonna fight you. And even though lately he's been fighting a few fighters, he's quick to dodge boxers, you know what I'm saying? He don't fight really no legit boxers, and he's boxing, you know what I'm saying? He fought Tyson Fury, brother, and he ended up losing a fight, and he's a washed up, he's at the lower end of boxing, and that's who he went and fought, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, I think this thing is blowing dust up on my, oh, let me get out the way. My bad, y'all. This truck is blowing dust up on my car. Ready to get out the way. Yeah, I was wondering what that was. I'm like, what is that dirt? Oh, that's dirt. Y'all heard that? That's rocks and dirt shooting on my car. I was wondering what was that? It's like static. But my bad. But talking about boxing, like Jake Paul, he been fighting a lot of no-name people, just fighting people and they really are bringing him up in the ranks and ranking him as this type of boxer, and they done turned boxing into a clown show. And just when I seen the Canelo Crawford fight back on the agenda of boxing, when I'm thinking, oh, we're going back to the era where real fighters are gonna fight, you know what I'm saying? Then this morning I rolled over in the bed and I see a Tank Davis Jake Paul fight happening in November. I didn't think it was real. I went to Twitter. I looked on a few other pages. They said it was legit. And I'm like, it's legit trash. Like, why would Tank Davis, why would the dude that boxes at what, 135, if 135, fight a boxer that's at 200 pounds? Like, why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we entertaining the clown show? And they saying it's an exhibition. Tank Davis, this little bitty guy against a dude that's 200-something pounds. Boy, I hope Tank Davis, whop, knock him out. You know, I'm just tired of the, and I know him and his brother Logan Paul, they have learned how to take what they doing with the energy drink, I forgot the name of it, my son be drinking it, and all that, and end up making themselves like they real big, they get a lot of money, so you can't hate on that. And if the people gonna fall for the retardedness, idiotic madness of what these dudes doing in boxing, I mean, you can't be mad at nobody, but I'm just saying, for me, the love I have for boxing, to watch them make a Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight, when you got a guy that's really like 70 pounds, probably 80 pounds over this guy boxing, getting in the boxing ring, boxing this guy. I think Jake Paul got to be 6 feet something. Tank Davis probably about 5'5", Like it's really turned into a clown show, and it's just like a money grab. Any way you could try to reach for some money, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's so willing to do it, and the viewership and everything. But I just guess that's how the world is, you know what I'm saying? Everybody would do anything for a little promotion on what they doing. But I'm just looking around, looking at it, and I'm like, this sport, one of my favorite sports, if not my favorite sport over basketball. I'm just watching what they did to the sport and how it looks right now, to the point where you don't have the big fights on HBO no more. HBO got rid of boxing. You had boxing trying to go to Showtime. And a lot of these big cable networks that was really, you didn't really watch these networks for really their shows. Some of them had some good shows, you know, Sopranos and certain things I used to watch on different programs, but mostly HBO was carried by the boxing part of the boxing. And you can look down the schedule and look forward to a lot of great fights. Like Canelo Crawford, that's a great fight, man. I've been really wanting to watch that fight. You know, I've been really wanting to see Canelo Crawford being really tested. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen these guys tested. I seen Canelo really tested, but Floyd Mayweather put the whacking on him and waxed him up and pieced him up. But one thing I would give to Canelo in that fight, he was still a young fighter, and he was still learning how to move his head, because at that time Canelo would come straight forward and he was getting picked alive. One thing about Floyd Mayweather, you cannot be a stand-up straight target with no head movement. He's going to pick you alive. He's too talented of a boxer for you to do that. And I think after that Floyd Mayweather fight with Canelo, he became a way better boxer. And I applauded Canelo on that, with taking his bruises and then coming back being a better fighter, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just going in and being a crazy brawler, he became a whole lot more his technique and everything changed. He used his head movement, you know, he started fainting, he started being more of a counter puncher. And I think Floyd Mayweather was a blessing to Canelo, because what he did to his career, he made him go really in the gym and tear it down and rebuild, you know what I'm saying? But just to go back to the golden age of boxing, man, where boxing was boxing, man. Like the UFC, it was a phase where I watched boxing and UFC all the time. And one thing I always respected about UFC, Dana White would make some of the biggest fights. Like, you would have to fight this guy. You can't run from the guy. You got to fight. And it just seemed like at that time, them Anderson Silva, St. Pierre, the BJ Penn, the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, Rampage, you know what I'm saying? John Jones, you know, it was just so many boxers. I mean, UFC fighters back then, you know, Matt Hughes, you know, it was so many, man. It was so many UFC fighters. David Loiseau, I wouldn't be able to even sit here and say all the names, man. It was just so many fights being made and so many fighters. And that's why UFC have always been the kind of sport that you wanted to watch, because they made the fighters fight. And boxing was at a certain time where it was just so many fighters, so many boxers. You know what I think was going on with boxing? I think boxing is such a dangerous sport that a lot of boxers that would have been like if you watch boxing back in the day, you would see a lot of juniors or thirds. You know what I'm saying? You would see a boxer that's his daddy was a great boxer, or his granddaddy was a great boxer. And I think that's more what happened to boxing. I think these dudes in boxing start making all this life-changing money, and then their grandsons or sons that would have been great boxers, that would have came up wanting to be boxers, I think these dudes made so much money where they don't gotta box. It's kind of like if you think about it, it's kind of like a football player. Your dad know the danger behind playing football, so he made so much money now that my son, I heard a lot of these dudes coming out saying, I don't want my son to even play football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a dangerous sport. Like, it can all end and just on one hit. You know what I'm saying? So I see a lot of boxers, a lot of boxers' dads and grandparents and stuff saying, that if they can advise their kids not to box, they would tell them to not to box, or like I said, not to play football. I never heard a parent say, I don't want my son to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? Or he might just tell him he don't want him to put in. You look at a person like LeBron James. Like you look at it, you see probably more juniors in in football than any other sport of anything. You know what I'm saying? The junior gonna be, because it's like most likely if your dad is 6'9", you probably gonna have the same height. So half of the battle is already conquered. You just gonna have to go get better and be this kind of hooper. You know what I'm saying? And work on your game. But basically the part of being a big guy, being able to dunk easy, you're going to get that from your parents. So most likely you're going to go play basketball. But a boxer is more dangerous. I don't think, even though I be seeing Floyd Mayweather grandson work out, look at the Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know what I'm saying? His daddy was a boxer. His uncles, both his uncles was boxers. And you look at a lot of people, Cesar Chavez, you know, you look at a lot of boxers, and they're going to have juniors on the end of their name. But lately, you haven't been seeing it, and I think that's kind of the demise of boxing. Like, you got so much money, guys are getting so much money where they advising their kids and their grandkids not to go be boxers. And I'm looking at the woman, I'm looking at Clarissa Shields. Man, Clarissa Shields, she's just a straight up beast, man. She fight like a real dude. Like, you know, I'll be scared to fight her. I ain't gonna even lie to you. But this Jake, I done got way off topic because I love boxing so much, and I ain't even really worried about the Jake Paul. We know that's a clown show, but I just don't understand why Tank Davis will participate in the clown show. I know it ain't about the money, because at any time Tank Davis can go get some money boxing somebody. So the fighter Jake Paul, what he gonna get, about $20 million for an exhibition? I mean, you can't be mad at the guy for taking his money. I'm just saying how boxing look and where boxing came from and where it's going. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of irritating. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to watch this, man. It's a waste of time, man. It's a waste of money. We know what's going to happen. They're going to make him look like a real boxer, and until he go up against a real deal boxer. Not go up against a boxer that's not retired, not been punch drunk, a real boxer that boxes. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him go against somebody in his weight division and go against a real boxer that boxes. Not a guy that been beat up and almost got brain damage and everything and can barely move. I want to see him go against a boxer that's a boxer. You boxing, go fight against, go have a real legitimate fight. Stop fighting kickboxers and basketball players and football players and break dancers and all kind of stuff. All these people he fight, man. But tell me how y'all feel about this Jake Paul, Tank Davis clown show that's gonna happen, man. But guess what? I don't pay for fights, so I'm gonna watch it, you know what I'm saying, even though it's a clown show. But I think I'm gonna still be coming off the high of watching Canelo Crawford. I'm not even gonna be worried about it though. But man, tell me how y'all feel about what these guys are doing to boxing and how boxing look right now, and how people like Jack Johnson and all these guys are turning their grade. You got greats like Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, all these dudes, Joe Frazier that have passed away. You know what I'm saying? We'll be looking at how the sport looked when they fought, and how it looks today, and how sad it looked, and how the product has just been towed down and just look like trash. But man, like, comment, subscribe on my video. I'm out.